some of the things that we need to keep in mind when we're making a Young Good type beat is some of the different general traits that his songs have. So I would say that his songs would be anywhere between 125 and 115 BPM. So for this tutorial, I'm gonna go around 125 because I want it to be more of a trappier style. So that's the BPM. He usually has minor chord progressions, and I'll just do the chord progression off camera because for me, how I work is that I just go with trial and error until I find something that's good. I don't really label the theory behind it or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So right now I have this chord progression, and let's just go ahead and listen to it. So that's the whole chord progression right there. And what I wanted to do is right away get the sub instrument. So in Ableton, we have a actual preset for it. It's called hip hop sub. So if you hit the command F in your browser and you type in hip hop, and then you go to bass, you're gonna go ahead and be able to find it. And I need a MIDI track. I created an audio track. Alright, so what I want to do now is like get a nice kind of range for this. So right now our chords are in C minor, but I'm gonna find a good note for the bass, something that hits kind of hard where we can really hear the sub. And if you don't have headphones, you're not gonna be able to hear this, but I'm gonna try to find a good note to play the 808 on. So I'm thinking, yeah, F. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transpose these chords up to an F so that the bass note is at an F. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because I want the sub to sound really bassy, and I don't want it to start kind of becoming inaudible. I want it to be audible throughout the whole song. And when you start playing really low notes on the sub, it starts to get very hard to hear. But F is a good note for this. Oops, I forgot to transpose this. 2, 3, 4. And I like this this scale right here. We're gonna figure it out later. But I think we should be good. Now at this point, we want to go ahead and start. I think I'm gonna start adding like the lead like that he uses, and I made a preset for it, I think in Serum, in my projects. So something you can do is save your projects to your sidebar, and in the other beat that I was making, I actually had the lead that he was using, and I made it in Serum. So we're gonna delete all this because this was from a different take on this video. So that's his lead right there. We're gonna come up with some sort of melody for this. You know what, we could just do that. So he'll either have some stuff like this, like where it's like super short and choppy, or sometimes his lead will be really extended, so it depends. So I'm gonna come up with a long, kind of more extended one. Let's fix these notes right here. Let's come up with something that's gonna work. So I hit this little preview button right here, and when I click on the notes, it's actually gonna play what it's playing. So I want this to be a little bit higher. So I mean, this could work for a different instrument, but for now I'm just gonna keep this as our main lead in the intro. And how I like to work is I'll loop a certain part and I'll just work under that, and then I'll spread out everything later. So we don't want to get overwhelmed with all this stuff out here. We just want to work on a single loop. Now I'm gonna start adding, like, I don't know, maybe a snare, start working on a snare. And I mean, I'm gonna have to browse a little bit through some drums, so let's see what I can find. I think under my premium trap essentials kit there should be some stuff. So we want like a full kind of snare that hits in the mid-range a little bit. It's just more full than like something like a little clap. It has to be thick sounding, I guess. Something like that could work, but it has like that extra bell on it. So we could layer this with something. That could work if we edited it a little bit. So right now I'm cutting out this long tail and I'm gonna start fading it out a little bit in the sampler, so it's not too long. And we want to layer stuff. Alright, so let's build a snare. And we want it to be on the third beat, on the third quarter note. And I accidentally hit a note there, so I apologize for that. That kind of messed it up. But we want to delay some of the sounds. So this one's gonna be more of a high-end sound, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it fade in a little bit. So we're just getting that high-end tail. I want to lower this a little bit. So again, transposing stuff when you're layering is a great, it's just good for layering because you get a completely different sound. If something's not working, then try to transpose different parts of it. Maybe make this come in a little bit early. So I kind of like that. And we're just going to duplicate it with Command D so that it's all the way across, and I'm going to hit Command J and it's all going to be together. And this lead is super loud, so I apologize for that. I'm just going to go into Serum and turn down the volume a little bit. So as you can tell, I added this little delay and it added all this ambience, like I said. So reverb and delay, those are really good effects for that first. So any type of trap hi-hat should work. He uses like traditional 808 sounds, like something that you would hear in like 2011 trap and stuff. And what I like to do is I just lay out the whole eighth notes, so it's covering the whole thing, and then I come up with the patterns afterwards. And I noticed like he likes to roll his stuff on the snares. Like when the snare hits, he'll roll it instead of doing something where it's like I mean, he could do that occasionally, but like it'll usually hit on the snare. And we're just gonna repeat that. Alright, so we have a basic pattern. And I'm in a sampler, so I can play different notes and it's gonna do the pitch bending and stuff. It's not gonna bend the pitch, but it's gonna give that illusion because you're transitioning from one note to the next. I'm gonna add open hi-hats, and I just get an audio track for this because it's like more visually appealing to me, and I can actually see the different cutoff parts of the note and like where it ends. So we want something that's sounds like an 808 sound. So maybe something like that. But I don't like how this sounds like it has reverb in it. So I'm gonna hit fades right here. You can go down from none to fades, and then you have this little thing right here. And I can start fading out that reverb. So without the fade, it sounds like this. And it has that reverb to it, that little extra like muddiness. So we don't want that. We want to get that out of there. I mean, we don't have to start with the hi-hat right with the open hi-hat right there. We can like move it somewhere a little bit later. Alright, so we have a basic pattern right there. Now the kick, let's just put it in a MIDI track, and we're just gonna get something that's thumpy sounding, like not clicky or sharp, but more of a fullness to it. Like something like that will work perfectly. And again, I'm in a sampler, but I'm not gonna change notes with the kick. I'm just gonna keep the same note all throughout the whole thing. So we want to spread the kick out a little bit. Don't want to go too crazy with it, so I'm gonna repeat the same pattern over every 4 bars. I'll just keep repeating it. And this open hi-hat is like super loud, so I'm gonna turn it down. Now let's work on this this bass line. So right now we only have an F, and we want to follow the chords a little bit with this bass line. So something that I like to do is hit Command A, and I hit 0 to deactivate the notes, and then I'll hit Command C, and then I'll bring that down to whatever instrument I'm doing, and then I'll be able to see the notes in the background. And let's take this down a few octaves so that we can hear it. Wait. So I have to think about this for a little bit. So F and then maybe like a D. So we'll have a D right there. And I made this one go up an octave a little bit. Not a little bit, I made it go up an octave so that we'll have some jumpiness and like more variation. And let me go ahead and get rid of this second part since it's basically the same thing. Now with the 808, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this down super short, and we're gonna go ahead and turn it into have a longer release so that we can have it fade out, and it's gonna actually sound like an 808 sample and not like a full-on sub, I guess. Or what we can do is I mean, we could turn the decay down like this, but I prefer to just have it be release. And we're gonna add some saturation and stuff, and I'm gonna get rid of this quick edit rack that I have, and this is just something that I have that has EQ and stuff in it, and I'm just gonna turn that off because I don't want it to cut out some of the sub ranges. Do something like that, and we're gonna add some saturation like I said, and add it to our bass right here. Now as you can tell, it's way louder, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it down. And something interesting I noticed is that his sub is usually not that loud. His 808s are kind of very humble in the mix, like they don't take up a ton of space. They're not trying to be super loud. Like the kick is actually the thing that's adding all the punch, and the 808s are kind of level with everything else, which is kind of a mixing technique that he uses to give space for other instruments. Now let's work on these chords. So obviously we're not going to use Lounge Lizard, and I recently came out with a pack called Vibrant for Sylenth 1 for those of you that don't have Serum but have Sylenth. And even if you do have the Lush kit, this is kind of like similar types of sounds, except it's for Sylenth, and there's like a lot of it kind of has like a space feeling, like spacious and really vibrant. That's why I called it Vibrant, like it sounds cool. So I'm gonna go through some of the pads, and we're gonna replace these chords right here. So I'm soloing it so we can hear this. So something like that would work, and it's all gonna be level now. Turn it down a little bit. So let's add this delay to the lead just so that we can hear it. And let me hear this melody that we had before. So that sounds cool. I want to add some vocal chops to this, and really you're taking like the vocals of something and you're just chopping it up wherever it sounds good, and then you're repitching it, so it's not too complicated, and it's more of a trial and error process. But let's go ahead and find something that will work, and I'll just drag it into this audio track right here. So right here we have this acapella, and if I play it, it's not gonna be matched up with the pitch of the song.
What I wanna do, I'm thinking about what
and it's not even gonna be on tempo or anything.
rock with you. Been waiting so long that I should.
So I'm not gonna play it too long because I don't want to get copyrighted. But what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna find the tempo of this, and I'm just going to do that off camera. Alright, so I warped the acapella to the right tempo, and really how warping works is that it'll stretch the song of it will stretch a clip to match the tempo of your song. And I found out that the tempo for Me and You by Cassie is 100 BPM, and I like to go to complex mode because it's not going to chop things up, and by default beats mode is just going to chop up your acapella and it's not going to really stretch anything. So complex is going to allow you to stretch the acapella. So what we want to do is we're just going to keep pitching this until it sounds like it's in key. It's that simple. Like you can just literally hear it. You just got to develop your ear, and you're going to hear when it gets into harmony. Let's turn on the lead too so that we can hear that. So obviously right there at -8 it's in key. Now we can take this up an octave by hitting shift and up, and it's still gonna be in key. And we can just keep working with this. Now at this point we can start chopping up phrases and stuff that we like and adding it to a new audio track right here, and then we can start, like for example, if I get this chop right here, I can add it right here, and then we can mute both of these and just rearrange the chops and put them in a new audio track. And with Young Good, he'll have these long kind of, again, ambient vocal chops, so they'll be extended and stuff. So what he'll do sometimes, or what you can do to get that, is you can get a little clip right like this and then hit ×2 and it's gonna stretch it. So it's still gonna be in tempo, it's just gonna be stretched, and it's gonna sound like she's like slurring her words a little bit more because it's like everything's kind of like slowed down when you do that. For now we're gonna first like find the actual phrases that we want, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I'm gonna select a few chops, and yeah, maybe I'll speed it up and stuff if it takes too long, but really it's just about finding nice vowel sounds. That's a good chop right there.
What I wanna do with you. Between me and you now, I've been waiting. Ooh, baby.
Alright, so I think I have enough chops. I don't like to go and get too many, but this should be a good amount. I want to keep the same kind of spacing, the same timing as well, just so I can have some context for when I'm actually adding it to the songs and stuff. I mean, to the song. And I'm gonna bring them closer together. And we can now mute this acapella right here and move it somewhere out of the way. And now we have all these chops and we can do whatever we want with them. Maybe if we extend this. What happens if we extend this? So this is pretty cool. I mean, it's a lot to squeeze into one space, so I'm gonna extend it a little bit. And I'm gonna copy this, put it here. So we're gonna turn this off right here, and then we're gonna have this be there. And now we can do some crazy stuff with the envelope and the pitches of the different clips. Some cool stuff like that. Like, sounds really abstract. And maybe do this. And then we're gonna take this, put this here. Maybe add a synth. So again, in the Vibrant kit, there's gonna be all kinds of different, so I have to load it first. All kinds of different electronic sounds and keys. So let me all kinds of weird textures, and it's like a lot of stuff that you wouldn't typically hear in a silent bank. I mean, there's a few kind of essential silent sounds, a little bit like essential as in like basic types, and then there's some more a abstract ones too. So definitely check out this kit if you're in need of like some lush sounds and you don't have Serum. This pack is like kind of like the equivalent but for silent, and it has like a few extra sounds as well. There's like 116 total, and this is for like any type of hip hop or soul or R&B or any type of melodic genre. It's a lot of melody stuff. I'm gonna try to find a synth that could fit in this song. Like, I mean, even that could fit in. Let's just come up with a melody first. It sounds like way too square to be like a young good type of melody. Like, I guess it could work if we added like add an arpeggiator, and we can make this have extra let's do something like that. So as you can tell, I went to MIDI effects and added an arpeggiator effect, and then we're gonna spread this out a little bit like this, chop it up, and then do something like that. So play with different rhythms of sounds and stuff and spreading out your clips. So we kind of have a basic idea of the chops. So again, that was kind of a tedious process. Like, it's not something that you instantly come up with. Like, if you do, then you're a god, and you shouldn't be watching this video, you know what I mean? But basically the chops are just, you find different vowel sounds and notes, and then you rearrange them, and it takes a lot of trial and error. But we have a basic idea right here. This is like nowhere near as complex as like other types of songs that I've made before, but for this genre we don't really need that. I've arranged the song a little bit, and basically everything is laid out kind of in a progressive fashion. Like, this is the intro right here, and then the drop, and then there's gonna be a short little outro. But yeah, something I wanted to do was also with this pluck right here, this arp, I wanted to turn up the attack because it's too aggressive. So if you listen to this right now, it sounds kind of harsh, but if you turn up the attack, it's gonna give it a more abstract feeling. And yeah, so in the other song I actually had a drum loop somewhere, so I guess that'll be like a drum break. So this is from my fills kit, this one right here, show in browser. So my fills kit on Seri Beats also has 82 different drum fills, and fills are just things that you add to break down something before a drop or something like that, or before a transition. And I kind of combined two different ones right there. And I'm gonna turn this down to like -12. So adds this nice little rhythmic build up a little bit. And that was unexpected, but I guess I'll keep it. So we're gonna have this in the intro, and really it's just a filtered break. So if I get rid of this, then that's what it sounds like. But I added a filter, as you can tell, with the quick edit rack. then we're gonna have it aligned and everything. A little bit later we'll have it aligned a little bit better. So I wanted to do a little bit more work on the intro, and something I wanted to add was kind of a bass sound. So we can either go with Serum or Silent. I'm gonna start just with the bank that I have in Silent, just so I can demonstrate more of the sounds, and some of the basses are perfect for what I'm trying to do. So we kind of want this like Drake type bass. Some of these basses could work perfectly in this song as well. That's a really cool 808. So this one right here, I'm gonna get rid of the LFO on here. Kind of loud, so I'm gonna turn down the volume. It's really loud actually. And we're gonna get this these chords that we have, and I'm just gonna create a bass line that's gonna follow these chords in the intro. Just gonna try different ideas out. Alright, so let's get rid of this filter as well. Like, I feel like there's a really strong filter on this. So without it, it's gonna sound like this. And we're gonna have this fade in. So we're gonna get this volume knob right here in the quick edit rack, or you could do it within the actual volume, but I like having the rack here because when you start automating volume, it's gonna disable the whole track, so you won't be able to edit it later. So I'd rather have it fade in through the quick edit rack instead. So something else was, we want to start getting the lead to be more ambient. So I'm gonna filter out some of the top end. Turn on that delay again, I guess. Actually, let's try a reverb. Let's get a nice reverb on here. And with the 808, I feel like it's way too complicated, like way too many notes in it. Let's get rid of this top one. have this pitch upwards, I guess. Let's have this 808 come in actually at this one part. I can't find the clip. Alright, so right here. Let's have it come in. I got rid of it, but I kind of want it to be there. And I want this glide to be even higher, so I'm gonna edit the macro. Goes from, okay, so I'm gonna turn it up like so it's higher. Alright, so that works, and something that you'll hear a lot is like shaker loops and stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. I'm gonna go into my drum kits and stuff, and I know I have some shaker loops in this kit right here. Kind of fast. And what I'm gonna do is, since I'm in beats mode, I'm gonna hit this envelope and change it. So yeah. Alright, so at this point I'm gonna do more work on the drums. Really, with drums it's like a lot of just trial and error, just like any other sampling. So just gonna play with different rhythms and stuff, and I'll be right back. So since last time I practically finished the song, but there's a few things that we still need to do to go ahead and polish this up and finish it. And let me just go over some of the things that I added. So right here we have a reversed piano, and really it was just this melody that I played, and it had delay on it, and then I reversed it, and it kind of gives this build-up effect. It sounds like a Drake type of song, like. Anyways, that's kind of cool. Secondly, I added these chords right here on the second part of the drop. It's basically the same thing as this, except again, it's from another pad from the Vibrant kit on seribeats.com. So definitely check it out if you're into these kinds of sounds, like vibrant and lush soul kind of vibe type of sounds, for like chords and melodies and stuff. And really I played with some of the attacks and the delays, or sorry, the attack and the release, so that it would come in faster, and then be a shorter release at the end. And I put it way in the back, like I lowered the volume, but it still has a positive kind of effect on the whole song. Like it kind of adds to the whole thing. Secondly, I added another, I kind of changed the leads a little bit. So I added like that pitch bend, and there's also a reverb on here. But the second part of the drop has a different melody. So I thought that was cool. And then I have another piano track right here. So that adds kind of like this ambience. Again, you want to add as many fading kind of echoey sounds to these ambient type of tracks. Now with the chops, I completely changed them because I just didn't like how they were sounding before. It's the same chops except I delayed them a little bit. So that's right before the drop. So I kind of layered them and stuff. Now, in terms of drums, I added like hi-hats that are actually realistic. I took drum loops and I chopped them up. So let me go ahead and find these in the browser. So if you can find drum loops, you can actually chop out the hi-hats and get some realistic patterns if you start combining them and stuff. And I just kept repeating it, and I cut out a lot of the low end. I set it to about 1,000 right there, and it just adds this nice realistic effect to it. And then there's a shaker loop in the background because I noticed he uses that a lot. And I panned it all the way to the right, or 25 to the right, so almost about 50% to the right. But that's basically what I added. So now we can start working on some stuff like fixing different things. So something that I noticed, oh yeah, and one more thing is that I added a hi-hat right here that's gonna fade into the drop. And then it's gonna lead into the drop. But something that I noticed was that this drum loop right here was a little bit off. So in Ableton, what you can do is that, so if you take a look at this, all these peaks are a little bit off, and that's okay because we need some swing. But for some of them, such as the snare, we want it to be right on point. So I hit Command A and then I said insert markers. So let me go ahead and delete them. I did insert warp markers, and now we can actually move these around. So this is a snare right here. We want it to be right on the line. We don't want it to be a little bit off. We want it to be generally closer to the line. Especially this one right here. If I can get it. So I'm aligning it to our lines. So right there was a little bit of a delay, as you can tell, as it transitions back to the start. So we want to move this over so it's right on the line, and now it's gonna fill in that space instead of having it be, and that kind of sounds a little bit off. So it's really subtle, but all these little additions kind of add up. So same thing, we're gonna hit Command A and then Command I. It's gonna insert all these warp markers, and I'm gonna get rid of this one right here so we can move this into place, and we're gonna align it with our lines pretty close. Same thing right here, we're gonna move this back, and now it's really coherent. Everything makes sense. Now with the master, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have some sort of a filter, a high pass filter right before the drop, and then we're gonna turn this off and we're gonna turn it on like right here, and we're gonna have the frequency be all the way down, and then near the end it's gonna go upwards, and this is gonna cut out a lot of the lows, and hopefully we can have some resonance on there as well. So something like that. That's too aggressive, to be honest. That's kind of cool right there. And then we have a nice lead in into the drop. So for the hi-hats, we're gonna turn up the Q, and we're going to be high cutting it. So slowly we're gonna lead it in like this. So again, we're gonna get some automation. Let me turn up the Q. I want to also add maybe a frequency shifter. So something like this. Alright, that's good. There we go. And we're gonna make it a little bit louder. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the frequency shifter right there. And I don't know, how can I make this sound better? I'm gonna turn off the quick edit. Actually, let me see this. I'm gonna actually turn up the EQ all the way on the drop. There we go. There we go. Anyways, that's basically all there is to it, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix this song and then play the final product. So if you enjoyed this video or learned something, subscribe for more of these. I'm gonna be posting more of them, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this and maybe do a few more changes off camera, and then that's gonna be it. So